This video is about he was a janitor until a famous actor gave her a new house. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. He was a janitor until a famous actor gave her a new house. Part 1 ***. The morning sun filtered through the tall windows of the community center, casting a warm glow on the warm wooden floors. Among the laughter and chatter of the children playing, Manuel Rivera quietly went about his work, mopping the floor as he always did. To the untrained eye, he was merely a janitor, but to those who knew his story, he represented resilience in its purest form. Manuel had arrived in the United States 10 years ago, leaving behind his home in a small village in Mexico. His hands, callous yet gentle, told tales of labor and love. After losing both his parents to illness, he had vowed to find a better life for himself and help his younger sister, Luz, who was still in Mexico. With dreams larger than life, he had crossed borders and faced countless obstacles, but here he was, a man who refused to let hardship define him. Every day after his shift at the community center, he would rush home to the tiny apartment he shared with Luz. It was a cramped space of peeling wallpaper and a leaky faucet, but it was home. Luz, now 18, had become his source of inspiration. A laughter rang through their home like a melody, reminding Manuel that no matter how difficult life became, joy could still be found. "Manuel, can you help me with my math homework?" she called out as he entered their apartment one evening. "Of course, Luz, what are we working on today?" He set down his mop, instantly transforming from a janitor into a loving brother, ready to tackle any challenge with her. As they pored over her textbooks, Manuel couldn't shake the feeling that he wanted more for them. It was a familiar longing, one that wrapped around his heart like a vine. He wanted to give his sister a better life, one filled with opportunities and dreams that reached higher than their current circumstances. But reality often had a way of dimming dreams. That month, their landlord had raised their rent again, forcing Manuel to work longer hours. He had taken on extra shifts at the center, cleaning after community events and sometimes even working late into the night. Each dollar earned felt like a drop in a bucket with a hole in it, never enough to fill the void. One particularly exhausting day, as Manuel scrubbed the remnants of paint from the floor after an art class, he overheard a conversation between two women nearby. "Did you hear about that new charity event the actor, Ethan Hayes, is hosting? They're raising funds for families in need, and it's supposed to be a big deal," one woman exclaimed. "Yeah, it's turning into a gala. I heard he is giving away a house to a family that truly needs it. Can you imagine?" her friend replied, awestruck. Manuel paused, his heart racing. A house. The thought of a real home for Luz sent a wave of hope cascading through him, but he quickly shook it off. It felt too far-fetched, too impossible. There was no way they would ever be chosen. Yet, that night, as he lay in bed, the idea began to take root in his mind. "Luz, what would you think about entering a contest to win a house?" he asked the next day over breakfast. Her eyes widened, excitement dancing within them. "Really? You think we could win?" "Maybe it is a long shot, but what if it could change everything for us?" He smiled, feeling the warmth of her belief enveloping him like a blanket. With renewed determination, they began to craft their entry. They wrote about their journey, their struggles, and their dreams. They described their cramped apartment, but more importantly, they shared how they supported one another through life's challenges. It was a testament to their bond, their resilience, and the love that fueled their fight for a better future. As days turned into weeks, they submitted their entry, attaching a photo of their family together, arms around each other, smiles wide. Manuel hoped that their story would resonate with others, that it would shine brightly amidst the numerous entries. But as the days passed, reality began to set in. The prospect of winning seemed more like a fantasy than a possibility. The rent due date loomed closer each week, and with every late night shift Manuel worked, he could feel the weight of exhaustion settling deeper into his bones. But in the midst of the struggle, he never lost sight of the glimmer of hope. One rainy afternoon while finishing up at the center, Manuel noticed an unfamiliar figure entering. It was Ethan Hayes, the famous actor. He was known for his philanthropy, often using his platform to give back. The community center buzzed with excitement, but remained professional, allowing him to conduct his business. Manuel, curious but nervous, couldn't he help but listen as Ethan spoke with the center's director about upcoming events and the charity gala. He felt a pull in his heart and an urge to connect, to share his story, but the fear of rejection held him back. After a few moments, Ethan stepped into the hallway, and Manuel instinctively straightened, clutching his mop as if it were a life preserver. "Hey there!" Ethan smiled warmly, his presence radiating a quiet confidence. You work hard around here. Thank you for keeping this place nice for the kids. Thank you, sir. I love working here. It brings joy to my sister and me, Manuel replied, his voice steady despite the rapid beat of his heart. Your passion shows. Family is important, Ethan said, and for a moment he seemed to see beyond the janitor's uniform. After a brief exchange, Ethan moved on, but Manuel felt invigorated. If there was any chance to meet Ethan again, to share his story, he had to find a way. That evening, he and Liz discussed how they could attend the gala. They had heard it would be open to families in the community, and they prepared themselves for the possibility. Do you think we'll all really get to meet him? Liz asked, her eyes sparkling with hope. I don't know, but I believe we should try, Manuel replied, feeling the determination build within him. As the day of the gala approached, their anticipation grew. Manuel had never attended such an event, but his heart whispered that this could be a turning point. Despite their limited means, he found a way to borrow a suit from a friend. Liz borrowed a dress from a neighbor. They were determined to put their best foot forward to embody the hope they carried. On the night of the event, the community center transformed into a stunning venue adorned with twinkling lights and laughter echoing through the halls. Manuel felt a mix of excitement and anxiety wash over him. This would be their moment to share their story, to connect with someone who could change their lives. As they entered the hall, they were greeted by a crowd of people dressed in their finest. For a brief moment, Manuel's confidence wavered. But as he looked at Luz, who was practically glowing with anticipation, he felt strength surging through him. Let us do this, he whispered, taking her hand. They mingled among the guests, smiles plastered on their faces, but their hearts were pounding. Time seemed to slip through their fingers like sand. They watched as Ethan mingled and greeted people, his laughter infectious, but he was always surrounded by a crowd. Manuel, will we really get to talk to him? Liz asked, her voice filled with wonder and a hint of doubt. We will, he assured her, the determination in his voice unwavering. He has to hear our story. As the evening progressed, Manuel spotted an opportunity. Ethan was walking towards the stage for a brief speech. The lights dimmed and the crowd hushed, captivated by his presence. Thank you all for coming tonight, Ethan began, his voice steady and full with warmth. He spoke passionately about the importance of community, of giving back to those in need, and how every small act of kindness could change lives. Manuel felt a fire ignite within him. This was their moment. He squeezed Liz's hand and made his way toward the stage, heart racing. As he approached, he could feel the eyes of the crowd on him, but he pressed on, fueled by hope and love. Excuse me, Mr. Hayes, he called out, his voice breaking through the silence. The crowd parted, and he felt both fear and exhilaration surge through him. Ethan turned, surprise flickering across his face. Yes? I am Manuel Rivera, and I have a story to share. The room held its breath, and for the first time that evening, all eyes were on him. In that moment, Manuel drew upon every ounce of resilience he had cultivated over the years. He poured his heart into his words, sharing their struggles, their dreams, and the love that fueled their desire for a better life. He spoke of his sister, of the sacrifices they had made, and how each day they fought to find joy in the midst of adversity. As he concluded, the crowd erupted in applause. Tears filled Liz's eyes, and Manuel felt a wave of warmth envelop him. In that moment, they were seen, their story acknowledged, and hope blossomed amidst their struggles. Ethan approached them, his expression softening. Thank you for sharing your story, Manuel. It takes immense courage to be so open. I believe in the power of hope and kindness, and it is people like you that inspire me to do more. Manuel. ***, he was a janitor until a famous actor gave her a new house. Part 2 ***. Manuel stood on the stage, the warmth of the applause wrapping around him like a comforting embrace. It felt surreal. It was as if the world had opened its heart just for this moment. He glanced at Liz, who beamed up at him, pride radiating from her. Her eyes sparkled with unshed tears, and he realized the weight of their struggle had been shared in that single moment. Ethan stepped closer. You are truly an inspiration, Manuel. Your courage to speak out and share your story is remarkable. I want to help you. The words hung in the air, vibrating with possibility. Manuel's breath hitched in his throat. Help? Could this be what they had been dreaming of? He felt his heart race, an exhilarating mix of fear and hope swelling within him. I thank you, Mr. Hayes. We just want a chance to build a better future, Manuel managed to respond, his voice trembling slightly as he searched Ethan's eyes for sincerity. I understand, and I would like to invite you both to meet with my team after the gala. We want to see how we can support your journey, Ethan said, his tone earnest. Liz squeezed Manuel's hand tighter, her enthusiasm infectious. Really? You were serious? She whispered, her eyes wide. Absolutely, Ethan replied with a warm smile. Let us make a difference together. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. Manuel and Luz mingled with other guests, their hearts still racing from the encounter with Ethan. As the night drew to a close, they found a quiet corner away from the crowd. Did that really just happen? Liz asked, eyes shimmering with excitement. Manuel chuckled softly, still feeling the echo of applause in his ears. I think it did, but we all need to stay grounded. Luz, this is just the beginning. Maybe that's the beginning of our new life, she said, hope shining through her words. Days turned into weeks, and as they met with Ethan and his team, Manuel found himself embroiled in a whirlwind of emotions. He shared their story repeatedly, each telling further igniting their dream. The team was kind, listening intently as he spoke about their struggles and aspirations. They understood the nuances of hope and resilience that lay within his narrative. I believe in your journey, Ethan told them after one meeting, his eyes reflecting sincerity. You've overcome so much. Let us work together to create a future where you and Liz thrive. Manuel felt the strength of their words holding him up, and for the first time, he believed that perhaps, just perhaps, their dreams were attainable. As discussions progressed, a plan began to form. Ethan's team would assist them not only in finding a home, but also in job opportunities for Liz once she graduated. They spoke of after-school programs, scholarships, and resources tailored to help families like theirs. Each meeting felt like a step closer to a life Manuel had only dared to dream about. However, the path wasn't entirely smooth. There were moments of doubt, nights when the weight of this situation pressed down on him heavily. Manuel often found himself awake, staring at the ceiling, the shadows of uncertainty looming large. What if this was all a facade? What if nothing came of it, just like his earlier dreams? One evening, as he returned home after a long shift, he found Liz sitting at the kitchen table, her head buried in textbooks. The sight brought a smile to his lips, but he sensed something was amiss. Hey, Liz, he said gently, placing a hand on her shoulder. You okay? She looked up, her expression clouded. I am just worried, Manuel. What if we don't get the house? What if we fail? He knelt beside her, meeting her gaze, feeling her fears mirror his own. I understand, but remember, it is not just about the house, it is about the hope we've found, the direction we're heading. We're already stronger together than we've ever been. Her lip quivered slightly, but she nodded, trying to push away the fears that gripped her heart. I know, I am just scared, but you're right, we can't lose sight of what we're rebuilding. Let us keep dreaming, Liz. No matter what happens, we'll all face it together. As the days passed, the meetings with Ethan's team continued to inspire them. They were invited to community events, where they shared their story, and slowly, the seeds of hope they had planted began to sprout. Neighbors and friends rallied around them, pulling together resources, offering words of encouragement. One afternoon, Manuel was mopping the floors at the community center when an unexpected visitor arrived. It was Mrs. Peppers, an elderly woman from the neighborhood who had always been kind to him. Manuel, dear, she said, her voice like a gentle breeze. I just wanted to tell you how proud I am of you and your sister. You both have such a beautiful spirit. Thank you, Mrs. Peppers. That means a lot coming from you, he smiled, touched by her words. I've been following your story, she continued. You inspire so many of us, and I want to help. Manuel felt a swell of gratitude. You've already helped so much just by being a part of our community. I know times are tough, but I've been saving a little. If it helps you get to where you need to be, I'd like to offer you this, she said, handing him a small envelope. Manuel felt the significance of the moment wash over him. Mrs. Peppers, you don't have to. Please, dear, I want to. It is not about the money, it is about the love behind it. Use it however you see fit. Tears prickled at the corners of his eyes as he accepted her kindness, overwhelmed by the beauty of community support. Thank you, I promise we will use it wisely. The days turned into a blur of meetings, laughter, and a few setbacks that tested their resolve. But each challenge only fortified their bond. Manuel found strength in their togetherness. Every struggle became a thread woven into the tapestry of their lives. Then the day arrived when Ethan's team delivered the news they had waited for. Manuel, Luz, Ethan said, his voice steady but filled with warmth. We are thrilled to announce that you've been selected for the home we discussed. It is yours. The room erupted in joyful disbelief. Manuel and Liz exchanged looks of shock, their hearts racing. Are you serious? Manuel asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Absolutely, Ethan replied with a wide grin. You both deserve this chance. It is time for you to build the life you dream of. Les burst into tears of joy, and Manuel found himself overwhelmed with emotion, his heart swelling with gratitude. Thank you, he managed to say, feeling the weight of their journey lift, replaced by an exhilarating sense of possibility. In the following weeks, preparations for their new home began. They visited the house, a quaint little structure with a white picket fence, a garden that begged for sunshine, and rooms that held the promise of laughter. They could picture their lives there, the memories they would build. Finally, the day of the move arrived. Friends from the community rallied to help, and they filled the house with laughter and joy. As they settled in, Manuel stood in the small living room and looked around, his heart swelling with gratitude. "Can you believe it, Manuel? We have a home?" Les said, her voice trembling with disbelief. He pulled her into a tight embrace, overwhelmed by the journey they had taken together. "We did this, Les. Together, we created our dream." As they decorated their new space, Manuel felt a renewed sense of purpose. The struggles they had faced became stepping stones, each one reminding him of their resilience and the power of hope. And with each brushstroke, every piece of furniture they placed, he felt a deeper connection to the world around them. In the heart of their new home, they found a small corner to hang a picture of their family, a reminder of where they had come from and the strength they had discovered along the way. "Every challenge we faced led us to this moment," Manuel said, looking at Les with pride. "And every day forward is another chance to build, to dream, and to inspire." They stood together, gazing at the picture that encapsulated their journey. Together, they were more than just a brother and sister. They were a testament to resilience, hope, and the unyielding beauty of the human spirit. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue through their window, Manuel whispered, "We re-home, Les, and this is just the beginning." He was a janitor until a famous actor gave her a new house. Part 3. The air was cold and crisp as the sun began to rise over their new neighborhood, casting a soft glow on the charming houses lined up like stories waiting to be told. Manuel stood in the middle of the living room, inhaling deeply as he absorbed the reality of their situation. They had done it. They had a home. "Can you believe it is ours?" Liz asked, her voice barely above a whisper, filled with wonder. Manuel turned to her, his heart swelling with pride. "It feels surreal, doesn't it? We've fought hard for this. Les, remember that day at the gala? Everything changed there." "Yeah," she said, her eyes sparkling. "I never thought we'd actually get a house. It feels like a dream." "It is a dream, our dream, but it is also real, and we need to make it our own." He smiled, gesturing around the room filled with boxes. As they unpacked, they each found mementos that told stories of their lives. Manuel held up a worn-out soccer ball, a relic of his childhood days spent playing with neighborhood kids back in Mexico. "This old thing," he chuckled. Lois laughed, remembering. "You always said you were going to be a professional football player, didn't you?" "Maybe in another life," he said, his expression turning serious. "But our dreams change, Les. Sometimes they lead us to unexpected places." As they continued to unpack, a knock on the door startled them. Manuel opened it to find Mrs. Peppers standing there, a cheerful smile on her face and a tray of cookies in her hands. "Welcome to the neighborhood," she exclaimed. "I baked these for you. I thought it would be nice to break them in your new kitchen." "Thank you, Mrs. Peppers," Manuel said, accepting the tray. "You were so kind." "It is the least I could do. You both have been such an inspiration to all of us." She stepped inside, her eyes roving over the living room, still cluttered with boxes. "It is a lovely space." Les beamed. "Thank you. We were still getting settled, but it already feels like home." Mrs. Peppers nodded knowingly. "It will feel more like home with each passing day. You allow make it yours, and you have a supportive community behind you. That is what has made this journey so special," Manuel said. "We learned that we were not alone." As they settled into their new life, the weeks became a whirlwind of adjustments. Liz started her first job at a local cafe, her confidence blossoming as she interacted with customers. Manuel continued his work at the community center, but now he felt a renewed vigor. He was part of something larger. One evening, as they prepared dinner together, Liz candidly shared her thoughts. "You know, Manuel, I feel like I am finally finding my place. It is like I am stepping into my own." Manuel stirred the pot on the stove, glancing over with pride. "You are. This is just the beginning for you, Liz. I can see it in your eyes." "I really want to go to college," she admitted, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "But what if I can't keep up with everything?" "You can do anything you set your mind to," he encouraged. "Remember, we've overcome so much together. College is just another chapter in your journey." As Luz continued to work, she enrolled in a community college class, determined to pursue her passion for art. Manuel was her biggest supporter, attending her first art show at the cafe where she worked. "Look, there's my best artist," he called out, waving as he entered the cafe, a bouquet of fresh flowers in his hand. Luz's face lit up. "You came, thank you." She rushed over, her heart swelling with pride as she looked at the paintings she had worked hard to create. "Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world," Manuel replied, handing her the flowers. "These are for you. You deserve to celebrate every achievement, big or small." As she admired the colorful arrangements, she beamed up at him. "I am so grateful for your support, Manuel. I wouldn't be here without you." "Always," he said, pulling her into a warm embrace. "You've always had it in you. I am just proud to be by your side." Manuel's heart soared that evening as he watched Luz interact with customers, sharing stories and laughter. He knew how hard she had worked, and he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Their home had become a sanctuary, a place to nurture dreams and resilience. But with every step forward, new challenges arose. One afternoon, while mopping the floors at the community center, he overheard a conversation between two staff members. "Have you heard about the funding cuts that is going to hit our programs hard?" one woman said, her voice heavy with concern. The second woman sighed. "I know, it is tough. The community relies on these services, and we're going to have to make some difficult choices." Manuel's heart sank. The community center was not just a workplace, it was a lifeline for many families. He felt a surge of determination rise within him. There had to be a way to help. After finishing his shift, he sat down with Luz at their kitchen table, explaining the situation. "I am worried, Luz. The center needs support, or it could shut down programs that help families like ours." She frowned thoughtfully. "What can we do, Manuel? We're still getting on our feet." "I don't know yet, but we have to try something," he replied, a spark of inspiration flickering in his mind. "What if we organized a community fundraiser? We could invite everyone, share our story, and rally support." "That is a great idea," Luz exclaimed, her enthusiasm igniting. "We can include local businesses, maybe even have art displays from local artists." Manuel nodded, excited by the possibilities. "Let us make it happen. We can turn our home into a hub of hope and kindness." With determination and teamwork, they spread the word through flyers and social media. The community rallied around them, offering help, donations, and time. Soon, the event took shape, a fundraiser filled with art displays, a bake sale, and local musicians sharing their talents. As the day approached, Manuel and Luz worked tirelessly. They transformed their backyard into a vibrant celebration with colorful decorations and tables filled with delicious treats. The community came together, pouring love into every aspect of the event. On the day of the fundraiser, the sun shone brightly and the atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Neighbors gathered, laughter filling the air as they enjoyed the festivities. Manuel stood at the entrance, welcoming each person with open arms. "Thank you for coming together. We're making a difference," he said, his heart swelling with pride. As the event unfolded, Luz showcased her artwork, her confidence shining through as she explained her pieces to curious onlookers. The community responded with warmth, praising her talent and sharing their own stories. During a brief moment of calm, Manuel took a step back to observe the scene. Families mingled, children played, and the sense of unity wrapped around them like a warm embrace. He couldn't help but feel that they were building something special, a community that thrived on resilience and hope. Just as the last notes of music filled the air, Manuel took to the makeshift stage. "Thank you all for being here today. This means more than words can express. This is about more than raising funds, it is about coming together to support each other." The crowd erupted in applause, and as he spoke, Manuel noticed Ethan Hayes in the back. The actor waved, a supportive smile plastered across his face, and Manuel felt a rush of gratitude wash over him. It is about lifting each other up, just like you all have done for Luz and me. Together, we can create a brighter future. As the evening drew to a close, they counted the donations, and tears of joy filled Luz's eyes. "We did it, Manuel, we raised so much." "More than I hoped for," he replied, pulling her into a hug as the crowd cheered. "This is just the beginning of what we can achieve together." In the weeks that follow, the funds they raised helped the community center sustain its programs, supporting families in need. Manuel felt a profound sense of purpose in his work, knowing their efforts made a tangible difference. As they sat in their cozy living room one evening, surrounded by the warmth of their new home, Luz turned to Manuel, her eyes shining. "You know, I think we've found our place in this community. We have a family now, people who believe in us." Absolutely, Manuel replied, his heart full. We've rebuilt something beautiful here, Luz, and it is all because we dared to dream and fight for our place in this world. In their little corner of the world, Manuel and Luz had discovered the power of resilience, the strength of hope, and the beauty of community. They had built not just a house, but a home filled with love, laughter, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. And as the stars twinkled outside their window, Manuel whispered, "This is just the beginning. Together, we can achieve anything." He was a janitor until a famous actor gave her a new house. Par 4 The sun poured through the newly furnished living room, illuminating the walls adorned with memories. Manuel watched as Luz meticulously arranged her art supplies on the shelf, each brush, each canvas representing a piece of her burgeoning dream. It had been a few months since they moved into their new home, and every inch of the house felt alive with their hopes. "Look at this place, Manuel," Luz exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "It feels like we're reliving in a storybook." Manuel chuckled, reminiscing about the long nights spent dreaming of this moment. "It truly does, and it is our story now." He felt a pang of gratitude as he thought back to how far they had come. Now, with their community rallied around them and their dreams unfolding, Manuel was filled with a sense of purpose. However, he was also acutely aware of the challenges that lay ahead. He knew that happiness could be fleeting, and with it came the weight of responsibility. One chilly evening, Manuel returned home from the community center, his heart heavy after a long day. The center was experiencing renewed energy, but funding was still a struggle. The financial strain of maintaining the programs they had fought for weighed heavily on his mind. He entered the house to find Luz sitting at the kitchen table, diligently painting. "Hey, look who is back," she greeted, her smile brightening the dim room. "How was work?" "Busy as usual," he replied, hanging up his jacket. "But we're getting there. How was your day?" "It was amazing. I sold 2 paintings at the cafe today," Luz exclaimed, her voice bubbling with excitement. "I can't believe people actually want to buy my art." "Luz, that is incredible." He rushed over, enveloping her in a warm hug. "I am so proud of you. It is all because of your hard work and passion." She beamed, but as she pulled back, Manuel could see a flicker of doubt in her eyes. "But what if it doesn't last? What if I can't keep this up?" "Listen," he said, kneeling down to meet her gaze. "Every artist faces ups and downs. What matters is that you keep creating. You're talented, and you have a voice. No matter what happens, I'll be here cheering you on." "Thanks, Manuel. That means the world to me," she said softly, returning to her canvas. Manuel watched her paint, admiring how she poured her emotions into every stroke. It reminded him that art, like life, was a series of bursts of inspiration interspersed with moments of doubt. Days turned into weeks, and as the community center continued to struggle financially, Manuel decided to take his advocacy to the next level. He started gathering people for community meetings, encouraging everyone to brainstorm ways to sustain the center's programs. One particularly rainy Thursday evening, as they gathered in the center's multi-purpose room, Manuel stood at the front, a whiteboard filled with ideas behind him. "All right, everyone, thank you for coming. We need to come together to make our voices heard and ensure this center remains a hub of support for our families." The room was filled with familiar faces, each one expressing their own struggles and hopes. Mrs. Peppers sat in the front row, her usual cheerful demeanor replaced with concern. "Manuel, we're all here for you, but we'll all need more than just ideas. We need to raise funds and awareness." "I know," he replied, his voice steady but strained. "What if we host a community festival? We could showcase local talent, have food stalls, and invite everyone to join in. It could be a celebration and a fundraiser at the same time." A murmur of approval rippled through the crowd, and a few people chimed in with suggestions. "Let us make it a weekend event. We can organize a talent show," suggested a young man, his face lighting up with enthusiasm. "And we can have booths for local businesses. It'll be a great way to support them too," added a mother sitting at the back. The ideas flowed so naturally that Manuel felt a flicker of hope. "Yes, let us get to work on this together. We can do this." As the meeting wrapped up, a renewed sense of purpose filled the air. Manuel felt buoyed by the support of his community, but he also felt the weight of responsibility. He knew that a festival would take a lot of work, and it was a gamble that could either make or break the center. "Manuel," Mrs. Peppers approached him after the meeting, her eyes filled with encouragement. "I am so proud of you. You've brought everyone together. Just know you're not alone in this." "Thank you, Mrs. Peppers. Your support means everything," he replied, touched by her words. In the days leading up to the festival, Manuel and Luz worked tirelessly. They spent evenings planning, reaching out to local businesses, and coordinating volunteers. Liz painted colorful signs and banners, her excitement infectious. "I can't believe how many people are stepping up to help," she exclaimed one night, her paintbrush dancing across a canvas. "This is going to be amazing, Manuel." "I know, it is inspiring to see everyone come together," he said, feeling a swell of pride. However, the strain of the preparations began to take its toll. Late nights turned into long days, and Manuel found himself wrestling with insomnia and anxiety. He could feel the pressure mounting, and the fear of failure loomed large. One night, as he sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the ceiling, he heard a soft knock on his door. Liz peeked in, concern etched on her face. "Hey, are you okay? You've been really quiet lately." "I am just worried, Liz. What if the festival doesn't raise enough money? What if we can't keep the center running?" "Manuel, look how far we've come. We've built so much together. It is not just about the money. It is about the community we've created, the support we've found. No matter what happens, I believe in us," she said, her voice steady. He sighed, feeling the warmth of her words seep into his heart. "You're right, I just need to remember that." "You've always taught me to keep moving forward," Liz reminded him, her eyes shining with certainty. "Let us face whatever comes next together." Just as the festival day arrived, the clouds churned ominously above. Manuel and Liz set up booths, the energy buzzing with excitement and uncertainty. They watched as families trickled in, laughter and chatter filling the air. But then, just as the festival commenced, it started to rain. Heavy droplets fell from the sky, drenching the festivities. Panic surged through Manuel's heart. He watched as vendors scrambled to protect their booths, and families started leaving. "Manuel," Liz cried, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We can't let this ruin everything. Let us move the festivities inside the community center." With renewed determination, Manuel rallied the volunteers. "Everyone to the center," he shouted, gesturing toward the building. They quickly transitioned, moving tables and supplies indoors, their spirits lifting with each passing moment. Once inside, the energy shifted. The quaint center felt alive, filled with chatter, laughter, and the smell of cooking food. People began to explore, the rain forgotten as they mingled. Liz took the stage and announced, "Thank you all for being here. Let us make the most of this festival, even the rain can dim our spirit." Manuel watched as she spoke, her passion infectious. The crowd erupted into cheers, and he felt a rush of pride wash over him. As the festival continued, the talent show kicked off, showcasing local artists and performers. Manuel felt the weight of worry begin to lift as he watched families enjoy themselves, their hearts opened by the joy of community. Hours later, as the performances ended, the crowd burst into applause. Manuel took the stage, his heart pounding. "Thank you all for your incredible support. This event is more than just a fundraiser. It is a testament to our resilience and the love we share." He looked out at the sea of faces, neighbors, friends, families, each one a thread woven into the fabric of their community. "Together, we can achieve so much. Let us continue to lift each other up, not just today, but every day." As the crowd cheered, Manuel felt a deep sense of belonging. In that moment, he realized that they had done more than just host a festival. They had built a foundation of hope that would sustain them for any storm. Later that night, as the festival wound down, they counted the donations. Manuel and Liz exchanged incredulous glances as they saw the total. "We raised enough to keep the center running for months," Liz exclaimed, unable to contain her joy. "I can't believe it," Manuel said, his heart bursting with gratitude. "We did this together, Liz. Our community came together for us, and we can keep supporting each other." As they packed up the leftover decorations, Mrs. Peppers approached, her eyes glistening with pride. "You two have inspired so many today. This center will flourish because of your hard work." "Thank you for your unwavering support, Mrs. Peppers. We couldn't have done it without you," Manuel replied, his heart